Sometimes we know part of the solution that we need when we're working with a large language model. So we have a problem and we know some of the steps or some of the pieces that we want involved in the solution, but we don't know the full solution. And what we need is the large language model to help us fill in the blanks, to put together the missing steps, basically to complete the recipe. Give us the detailed set of steps that take the ingredients that we have or the bits of information we know about how to cook this particular dish and fills in all of the gaps. And so the recipe pattern is a pattern for doing this. We give the large language model some goal that we're trying to achieve, and we give it the parcel set of steps that we know that we're going to have to involve in creating the overall sort of solution, the recipe, the goal, whatever it is. We're going to give it part of what's needed and ask it to fill in the rest. So this is really a way of getting the large language model to help us fill in our gaps in a process or gaps in our knowledge about a series of steps that need to be taken. So the recipe pattern can be really useful. And I'm also going to show you that our sort of intuitive shorthand for describing gaps and ways that we talk about things that we know are part of a process or part of a series of steps, but we don't know the exact details, that our intuitive way of expressing that is actually something that the large language models like ChatGPT can understand. So let's take a look at an example of this. So we're going to say we're going to add a feature. So we're going back to our trip planning application. And we're going to say, I will tell you my start and end destination, and you will provide a complete list of stops for me, including places to stop between my start and destination. So notice what we're doing is we're providing essentially an incomplete recipe. We're saying, here's where I'm going to start, here's where I'm going to get to, but I need to know what goes in between. And it goes back and it takes one of our prior examples of going from, or actually it creates its own example of traveling from Nashville to Atlanta, and notices that you're going to go through Chattanooga on the way, which is true. If you're going to drive from Nashville to Atlanta, you're probably going to drive through Chattanooga, and it suggests things that you could do, like going to the Tennessee Aquarium in Chattanooga or Lookout Mountain. So where it gets interesting is, if you remember back to the trip planning application, I taught it my own language for describing my trips. And so I used the meta language creation pattern. Now I'm going to combine the meta language creation pattern and the recipe pattern to do something interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say Nashville, 0. So I'm starting in Nashville, and then I'm going to have just dots or ellipses, basically dot, 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 arrow,